Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Hidden Agenda. Really kind of hate being up here on this one here, but we're going to go ahead and cut to the chase about it. Boy, I tell you, stuff around here just absolutely blows my mind. All right, I'm sure most of you have seen the post, have heard the post going around about the student not being able to walk in graduation at Scotts Hill High School this evening. We've been dealing with this and contacting numerous people throughout trying to get this here resolved so this young lady can actually take and graduate with the rest of her classmates. Unfortunately, we were unable to get that done, and graduation is starting here probably in about 15 minutes. Let me tell you what happened, information that's going on. I'm going to kind of give you a timeline. So hold on just a second here. I'm actually still getting information. Bear with me here. I'm still, like I said, this is a very, very fluid thing. Okay. So anyway, like I said, bear with me. I'm trying to get information right now. This is moving pretty good. All right. Like I said, I'm constantly getting messages across right now in regards to this here. I was gonna wait and go a little bit later. Anyway, so let's get in here. Like I said, this has been a constant evolution in this whole story here. What we normally okay. Like I said, I'm getting information right now as we're live here. So again, my apologies. I'm trying to get this information as much as I possibly can, getting as accurate as we can. Okay, here's the deal. Uh, um, hold on. Okay. All right, let's get into it now. Okay, this is what started was a post that went up on Hey L Town this morning. This was shared with us, so we kind of kept an eye on it and started doing some research. Now there was things that was going on throughout the day in the county, and I've been talking with a school board member, among other people within the school systems, and having a conversation about this to try to stay abreast of everything that's going on and to get answers. Okay, so here's the deal. This young lady graduates, supposed to graduate tonight. Actually completed school back in December. And let me go back to the information I've got to start this thing here off from a chronological perspective. And this is coming out of the school systems because we kept hearing about there's two sides to the story. Well, we've got limited information on the second side of the story, which again comes into a problem with the school system being transparent. Now, I will say this here. I understand that there is a necessity to protect children. I get that there. But I question right now, this young lady is actually 18. And when this actually started the school year, she was 18. So she's not a minor. So I don't know where the laws are protecting them at this point in time frame here. But anyway, we're going to get into it. What I was told is that she signed a contract back in August. A graduation contract. Now I've asked the student themselves. I've had a conversation directly with the student affected here, and she did not receive a contract from the school. What it is their student handbook, and as she said, is every year we had to sign for our student handbook. Now here's my thing is they're saying that there's a contract here. Now granted, she's 18. She could legally bind into a contract. But here's the problem is, we also have to look back at year before she was 17, year before 16, 15. All these students here, can they sign a contract? Yes, they can. Can it be voidable? Absolutely. So the rules and regulations within inside of the handbook for anyone who is not of legal age can be voided by the person who actually signed for it. So it's not really a legally binding document until you turn 18 years of age. So why are we having students signing handbooks? And I asked to make sure that the student signed for it, the parent did not. So without the parent's signature up there, it is the students and the students only. And again, why are we having children at 14, 15 years old, 16 years old, signing contracts? What on earth are we coming to here, people? All right. So if this is a signature of receipt of handbook, did they receive the handbook? Again, can't contract them in to force them to follow something if the student themselves wanted to take and make it voidable. Again, Tennessee law. I don't make the laws. I just read what the laws say. So in other words, this is an issue here of whether there's a legal and binding contract here. Now let's also come in here, was the contract signed, as what they're saying is there's a contract signed that she would attend one of two practices for graduation. Well, if there's no dates posted there, then how do you know when the graduation is? And this plays a part. So let's move forward to October. Unfortunately, the young lady lost her father, and it was very, very tough on her. And rightfully so. I mean, some people, have a hard time with loss. Some people don't. It's not our place to determine, what should be acceptable and should not be acceptable, and how people grieve. That is theirs and theirs alone to deal with. All we can do is help, but we should not hold them to anything accountable for it. Just for the fact that this can affect people's mental well-being. So, we're going to move into November. Her mother scheduled a vacation. And the vacation was, obviously was part of a graduation. I guess you would say a graduation present. Say, hey, here's for your accomplishment. In addition, Um, it's a distraction. We need to get something good in our lives to help us deal with what we're going through. I get it. I certainly get it. Again, we all have different ways on how we handle things. So here we are in November. Let's go ahead and move it on up to December. Student graduates. Finished school. Okay. All they got left to do is walk down the aisle, collect their diploma, and go ahead and, from there, go out into the world. Simple as that. Well, when they found out about the dates, apparently the mother reached out, or the student reached out first. I'm not 100% clear on this here. But then eventually what happened was the mom and the principal got talking about this here. And the mother explained, we already have this here scheduled out. Okay. And the principal pretty much, everybody's got a sad story. But if you're not here for this year, you will not walk down the aisle. So in other words, what they had was, you can either cancel your vacation. I'm sure most of you guys know it costs a lot of money to have a vacation, and just canceling a vacation willy-nilly can have expenses. So they opted to go ahead and take the vacation. They tried to, and obviously, she did not make the one of the two graduation practice exercises. And here we are tonight. She is sitting at home. She was not even given graduation tickets to be able to attend the graduation. Not just being in it, but she can't even go to watch it. All right. That's where we are. That's what's going on with this here. Like I said, we've got questions now that we're going to probably start digging into, and we're going to see if the school system can legally make any of these kids sign these handbooks. You can't force a child into a contract. Now I'm starting to question, is the school system's, violating some serious rights here? And good gosh almighty, how many students have we got that's violating rights on? But let's get into some more of this stuff here. And so, because I'm going to tell you, I've got some people that are pretty wound up over this whole thing. And, I've been getting information shared to me left and right. I've reached out. I kept hearing about there's another side of the story, another side of the story, another side of the story. So I reached out. Now, in the original post, it said that they missed one practice. There was two practices, and they only needed to attend one. So, yes, they missed one practice. So, yes, there's a break in the rules. And I get it. I am a big stickler about following the rules. But we're going to have to accept some things for what they are. If you get pulled on the interstate for running 71 miles an hour in a 70 mile an hour zone, you're going to be raising hell because, guess what? You broke the rules and you were held accountable for it. But yet we sit here and we allow, on the interstate, state troopers to determine, they were running 71 in a 70. They weren't, there's no need to pull this person over to give them a ticket. They stretched the rules just a little bit. Okay? All right, now I also asked, I said, well, what if a child got sick and was unable to attend those practices? Well, that's different because that child didn't make that choice to get sick. They made the choice to go on vacation. Well, but the rules state if you don't attend one of two, well, now you just flex the rules over here because you say, well, if it's beyond your control, then yeah, we can flex the rules. So are we either going to follow the rules or are we going to not follow the rules? This is here is if you can make some fluctuation here, why can't you make it the other side? What's the difference? If rules can be bent, then bend them. If they can't be bent, then don't bend them. But if you bend, then you really need to be looking at how you're bending and making sure that you're bending for the right reasons. For this situation here, it doesn't seem like it was the right reasons why the rules were not bent. It's just, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to go back in here. Now I'm going to start getting into some of the stuff that was sent to me. And this is something that's going to hit heavy and hard. Okay. Apparently, we have a new principal out at Scotts Hill, and I've got some more digging to do, but I had some information made available to me, and apparently this principal is not very well liked. At the start of the year, this was information sent to me. There was 429 students at Scotts Hill. They lost 69. So, I mean, why would you lose that many students? Now, let's get in here. So we're talking about we've lost roughly 70 students. Now, if you look at it, and this is something I've always heard out of the school board system because they touted this stuff here. Okay, we've got, we want to make sure we're. This was something that I'm going to go back to Commissioner Harold Toller when he was serving. Kept pushing back and saying, hey, you know what? We've got students coming out of Decatur County going to Scotts Hill School. We got kids coming out of Madison County going to Westover. And all of these kids cost money to educate. It costs a certain amount of money per kid to educate. Alrighty. So, when all of this stuff comes about, we're talking about, I think each kid is bringing in from TISA funding about $10,000 from the state. So the state, there's about $700,000, close to $750,000 that they're not getting now because those students have left. Now, if these students have left because of, we're talking, I don't know how the percentage is there, but, hold on. I got to calculate up here. I'm going to. Wow. That's about a 16.5% drop. That's a pretty large drop in enrollment. Now, and understand this here. Now, I want to give you some more information because we're dealing with this here. This TISA funds, that's money that comes from the state. Well, guess what also happens here is we, as taxpayers, we also help pay for that student with what they call the local match. Part of our tax money goes to educate these kids. So, all right. We're pumping money into it. Well, guess what happens here is, we have to give the school system X amount of money every year. It's called maintenance of effort. Now, what happens here is the maintenance of effort money, that can take and drop if there is a difference in enrollment. If enrollment drops, then the maintenance of effort money can come down because there's no need for us to give extra money to the school systems for them to sit on and hoard and build a $10 million or whatever, how much it costs to build that football stadium. Who the hell knows? We'll never know the truth. But instead of hoarding this money here, that's what's happening is when they lose these students, they're still getting paid. They're still getting paid from us, from our local match, but they're not getting the money from the state. And we should be reducing our maintenance of effort that we have to pay to the school systems here. And and what I'm being told is the school systems are starting to build up their coffers again. So we're going to look into this here as the school budget comes available this year. We're definitely going to be paying attention to it to let you guys know, because it sounds like this is going to be another money grab with them. To who knows what else they want to build? Probably they're going to have the Cardinals come down here and build a baseball stadium somewhere. But bottom line is, there's money being lost. And if this is based on the fact of the popularity of a principal, then I really think that the school boards, they really want to keep their money up and keep receiving the same amount of money, then they need to be looking at where the problem lies. Because at the end of the day, the school board has one responsibility, and that is to control the money. And the school board only has hiring and firing right over one person. That's the school superintendent. Everybody else falls under the school superintendent. Now the problem is because of the way our system's set up, the school board can go in there and say, well, we're going to fire the superintendent because we don't like what they do. So the superintendent's constantly under the gun to do what the school board wants, which to me is a major problem that we have in this state, and hopefully things get changed on that there. But all right, moving on. Like I said, we're starting to see, I'm getting information sent to me saying that there's an issue that people do not like this particular principal, and the enrollment numbers are showing it. So I want to come in and look at something else here. Now, I was told that there was another student at LHS that was in the same situation that was not allowed to graduate. This happened a few years ago. I don't recall that, but we may have even tackled it. Who knows? But we're dealing with the issue we've got right now. We tried to get it so this young lady could get back in there and graduate with her class. But I want to tell you something about her, because I've actually had the privilege of talking to her today. And if for any of you who may not, I mean, if you happen to see her and know who she is, definitely have a conversation with her. Very intelligent, very pleasant. And I was impressed when I heard that here's this young lady that is not even graduated from school yet, is actually working in the jail at the Henderson County Sheriff's Department. Now, I'm going to ask, I want to tell you about something. Saturday, we were in Jackson at Carl Perkins Civic Center. Our daughter there was 3 classes graduating that day, one at 9 o'clock, one at 12, one at 12:30. I mean, it wasn't 3 o'clock, I'm sorry. At 9 o'clock is when our daughter was graduating. So, here's the deal. I think their class was over 600, so I'm guessing probably a couple hundred kids that morning at 9 o'clock. Guess what? There was no rehearsal. No rehearsal whatsoever. These young adults was able to take and meet up, get in a room, get in line, file into an auditorium, get up, follow directions, cross the stage, receive a diploma, get a picture taken, and walk off the stage and go have a seat. I mean, we're not talking about rocket science here, people. We're talking about walking across the stage to get a diploma. I don't ever remember signing a contract for us to do a diploma. When I was graduating, that's a long time ago. We never signed no contracts. We never had to. To be honest with you, I don't think we even practice. I mean, it's just common sense. You just do what they direct you to do, and that's it. You know, it's pretty simple. But what I'm getting at here is we have a young lady who is tasked with, overseeing prisoners. We can trust her to do that there, but we can't trust her to take and get in line where she needs to be in line, walk across the stage, receive a diploma, and get off the stage and go have a seat. I mean, what on earth are we doing? And I'm going to say this here. We can't trust her to do that there, but we can certainly trust all these people here who've been with this school system. Everybody knows about all the sexual misconduct that happens in that school system. Adults. The problem here is not the children. The problem here is the adults. And once again, here we are seeing problems with this school system. I thought for sure that it would have been cleared up and wouldn't have to worry about it anymore, but obviously that's gone the wayside. So, we're going to get in here and we're going to start putting them right back up under the microscope one more time, because this has just gotten, this is too much. And if we have people who are that heavy in control over trying to take over a graduation, power tripping that hard, I mean, what message do you send? This is the problems that we have in this county, because people like this here are allowed to take and be in position. It is time, and you know what? And the people who allow this stuff to happen, if you want to enforce the rules, people, if you want to talk about enforcing the rules and no flexing on the rules, then you be at 100%. Because the moment you change just one time, you just became a hypocrite. So, here's the deal. Enforce the laws. Next time we hear about all the sexual misconduct and stuff, I'm going to start blasting it all out there. You know, you guys want to take and do the right thing, then do the right thing. Give you some leeway. You give people an inch, they want to take a mile. Bottom line is this here: we're going to start bringing you guys back up under the microscope. It's where it's at. You know, I may be leaving, folks, but I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't nothing stopping me from getting up, sitting back in Virginia and doing this same thing that I'm doing right now. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And yes, you know what? Sometimes we have to look at what happens and whether we need to make a change. And this is one of those times. So, young lady, kudos for you. I'm going to tell you right now, you've done something with your life. You've already in the workforce before graduating. I mean, I think that's just phenomenal. I think the fact that you're going to get your diploma and you may have lost an opportunity. Let me rephrase that there. An opportunity was robbed from you. A milestone in your life was robbed from you today. Don't let that bring you down. You hold your head up high, you keep doing the right thing, and things will work out for a reason. You know, it is. There's always something we don't see, but something's there. There's a point in what happened here today, but kudos to you for what you're doing and holding your head high and not letting anyone beat you in this here. And you know, my deepest condolences for the loss of your father. I lost mine, and I know what it feels like. I understand, and you know, it's not an easy task for some people to deal with. And so, again, my deepest condolences, and you're in my prayers for your loss. And I'm sorry that you've had to deal with adults that don't know any better. So, anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox here. If anybody wants to comment, you know, feel free to comment. If you got any questions, messages, you know, obviously send them to me. I think it's wrong what has happened to this young lady, and this is just one more of those situations in this county that just makes things bad. Anyway, we're going to sign off for the night. Congratulations to the graduating class of Scotts Hill. Wish you all the best. That's where we are at this point. Y'all have a good night, and hopefully we won't see you anytime soon because people will stop doing stupid stuff. But it is what it is. Y'all have a good night.